Welcome back everybody to another video with Cow Chris, and today we're going to be going over the new red garlic leader that is coming out in set 21. As always, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the support, and we'll jump directly into the video. So this leader is a new version of, we finally got a wish leader, another wish leader. I think it's been, I'm not sure when the Goku Black wish leader came out. I think it was like 3 or 4 sets ago. It was definitely before Z leader block, I believe it was like set 17 or something, which did not really see too much play. I think there was a few people who played it. I think it may have topped like one event, but it never really saw too much play. And now we're getting a red wish leader. Again, before we even get into the actual deck itself, if Sin or Red Red Sin or Red Gogeta are not touched, this deck will probably never see play, unfortunately, in at least high competitive environments. This deck focuses a lot on indestructible, which is really cool, which works against green and blue and things like that, but gets removed when its power is reduced to 0. So unfortunately, if Sin is a kind of still around, as well as Gogeta, maybe not so much Gogeta, but more so Sin, this deck is just going to be very difficult for it to play. So hopefully Bandai does some good stuff here with the ban list. So the positives of this deck, there is quite a bit this deck actually can do, and I hope we get to see this deck performing in some sort of competitive atmosphere. So activate main, switch discard the rest when you get to search for one Ginger, Sanzio or Nikki with an energy cost of 1. I'm pretty sure I butchered those names, but that's okay. Energy cost of 1 from your deck, then shuffle your deck. And then you have the Wish effect. When there are 7 Dragon Balls in your drop, to add 1 Garlic Jr. to Ambition from your deck to your hand, and then shuffle. So some of the positives of the Unawakened side here, we have a consistent turn to awaken, or at least we built the deck to have a consistent turn to awaken, which I will show you guys here in the deck video. But also being able to draw a card on turn 0. And essentially what I'm saying is when you activate main to play one of these 1-drops, they're basically drawing you a card, if not 2 cards. On the Awakened side, we are Garlic Jr. in Immortal Being. So this has 2 activate effects, 1 activate main, 1 activate battle. So the activate main, you get to play a 4-drop version of the 3 cards we just went over, or you get to activate the activate main skill of a red or black desire card from your hand with an energy cost less than or equal to your current energy, which is very good. So this is a, for those who haven't played a Wish deck before, desire cards are very powerful, like treasure cards that have the ability of playing out cards or drawing you stuff as well. So being able to play red or black definitely adds the a depth to what this deck can potentially do in the future when it comes to side decking and things like that. Activate battle for 1 red. If your life is at 2 or less and you remove 7 Dragon Balls from your drop from the game, you do not take damage for the turn. Then flip this card over to at the end of the turn. So if you have the ability of just not taking damage, which is very similar to the yellow Jiren leader that we had from like set 9, that could basically just stop itself from taking damage, which is really crazy. So if your opponent like hand dumps on something, it's a way for you to get out of that entire turn to then win next turn. It's a very, very powerful effect. And since you don't take damage, I don't know if that means you don't take damage from burn effects as well, because it's technically taking damage. I'm sure someone will let me know. But this card has very good effective deck cycling when it comes to using the Dragon Balls. If you guys don't know, Dragon Balls just essentially draw you a card. This leader having 2 different ways of being able to play stuff from your hand or your deck, and then that's just cycling through your deck, and deck thinning is definitely deck winning when it comes to Dragon Ball. Desire is going to be back, which is awesome. This is very excited to see what this deck could potentially do when it comes to being in the format, if there is a format that this deck is viable in. And we're going to go over a deck list that I created that I feel does a very good job of showing off a lot of the power points of this deck, as well as being able to cycle through the deck tremendously, drawing a ton of cards, and having pretty much a consistent turn 2, which is I would say very difficult for some Dragon Ball decks to actually do. So we're going to go here into the deck itself. Alright, so we have the deck here, and we're going to start here at the top with the Dragon Balls. If you guys don't know the Dragon Balls, they are 0 cost extra cards. You can run up to 7 of them in your deck, as long as you have the Dragon Ball trait. And if your leader is a Shinran card, you draw 1. So Very similar to the anyone who's kind of newer to the game, how Red Sin uses the cracked Dragon Balls. It's kind of the same concept, right? So, you need all 7 of these in the drop area. Obviously, you kind of want to mulligan for some of these, but we do have ways of being able to grab these cards from the deck, which we will go over. The first card here is going to be Garlic's Ambition. Garlic Jr.'s Ambition. This is the card you can get off of your leader's Awakened side. So this card gains Desire in all areas, meaning deck, drop, warp, hand, all that stuff. If your leader is red, draw 1, choose up to 1 red Garlic card from your battle area. That card gains indestructible until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then additionally, if this card was activated by one of your red Shinran skills, you get to draw a card. So essentially, if you activate this on your Awakened side, this is a draw 2, which is very good. It's a hard +1, but you're able to just cycle 2 cards, which is very, very good. And then give a card indestructible. For those who don't know what indestructible is, it's a keyword skill that used to be incredibly broken until they changed the ruling on it. It just means that an indestructible card cannot be removed by any card skills unless it is negated. Also, it can have its power reduced to 0, so essentially if its power reduces to 0, it's removed by game mechanic instead of by a skill. So that's a way that they developed where you can get around it, because the indestructible cards cannot be KO'd, but when you reduce the cards, it was weird, like it says when you reduce the card's power to 0, it's technically KO'd, and they said, well, this card can't be KO'd, and that's a skill. So they changed it to that's saying it's being removed by game mechanic. So yeah, that kind of hurts. Like I said, anything that negs or that can negate skills definitely is going to hurt indestructible. But your opponent has to have those cards in hand. So unless it's Red Sin, you probably don't have much to worry about. So then we have Get That Monster. So this card here is actually what I think makes this deck consistently being able to awaken on turn 2. But also this card just does a lot of stuff for you. So this is a promo that came out a few sets ago. It was like 60 cents for a really long time. This card was, everyone's like, okay, who cares, right? And then when this deck got announced, this card shot up to like $10. It's the Dragon Ball market for cards is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, but I had like 10 of these because people just gave them away. So pretty good value there for me. Activate battle. If your leader is a Red Sin, choose 1. Add up to 1 Dragon Ball from your deck to your hand and shuffle, or add a red Desire card that costs 1 or 2 from your drop or from your deck to your hand. So this is 2 ways of being able to search out cards, and it's also a 0 cost card. So activate battle. Opponent swings at you. So like let's say you go first, right? We can use our leader effect, which will grab one of. Actually, we'll show it off. We'll show it off in a second. I'll show you what the combo is. So we have one of the tech cards that I've added in here, and I believe the other one is directly right here, which is King Piccolo. So this card is really cool. This, if you guys remember from the KP days. So King Piccolo, Dragon Ball Obsession. When this card, play this card, search top 5 for a red Namekian or Demon Clan, and it costs 4 less, or a Unison that costs 2. So this card can search out this and the Time to Fight Piccolo, but also Garlic and all of the other Garlic cards. Most of them are going to be 4 costs or less in this deck. They're all Demon Clans, so you can search out all of those cards, right? Now why do we run Time to Fight? So Time to Fight, you can evolve over any red King Piccolo that costs 3 or less, which is going to be this guy. When this card is evolved into this card, you get to add 1 red Namekian or Demon Clan card that costs 4 or less, other than copies of this card, or a red Unison that costs 2 from your deck to your hand. So you get to search your deck for a specific card, which is very powerful. Auto, when this card is played or attacked, choose up to 1 of your red Demon Clan cards in your battle area, and it gets 20k power for the turn. So remember this. This is a very, very powerful skill. So not only can you give this card 20k, making this a 40k, you can give, I'm sorry, you can't give this card 20k, sorry. You can give other cards 20k. Yeah, almost forgot, yeah. But you can give any of your red Demon Clan cards in your battle area. So we'll go over some of those targets that you have, but it's a very powerful effect here. So, should have the 1-drop Garlic Jr. As I said, this is a Demon Clan, so this is searchable. When this card is played, you get to add 1 Garlic Jr.'s Ambition from your deck to your hand, so you get to search out this specific extra card. Activate main, play 1 Ginger, Sanzo, or Nikki, with any cost 1 from your deck, then shuffle. So this has the same effect as your leader, which is good, again, because this allows you to essentially waken, like I said, turn 2. So, what do we have? We have Ginger, Sanzo, and I think that's it. I think I don't run Nikki in the deck for deck space purposes. So we have 2 and 2 of these. and both of these cards do the exact same thing, just with the different names. So so you can see like both of these cards here, they do the exact same thing, but I'm only going to just spend time reading one of them. So they're both 1-drop 4Ks. When they're played, if your leader is this leader, you choose one. You either add the 4-drop version of this card to your hand from your deck and shuffle, or you place one card at the bottom of your deck from your hand, and you look up to your deck in your life and you add 2 Dragon Balls from those areas, up to 2 Dragon Balls, and then shuffle any areas that you look through. So essentially what happens is, so turn 0, let's say you go first, you activate main, you play one of these guys, then you get to search your life in your deck. You probably want to grab them from your life first to get them out of the way. You take those 2, probably start the game with the 3rd Dragon Ball, more than likely. You should mulligan for at least 1 or 2. So you either have 2 or 3 or 4 Dragon Balls in the drop. Your opponent swings, you get that monster, play this for free, grab another Dragon Ball, right? Next turn, you can, or actually, I'm sorry, you can actually, I apologize, you can, so you can play this from your deck for free, then you play this, right? So then this will grab this or the King Piccolo, it just depends on kind of what you want to do. But if you play Garlic Jr., you get to grab this. If you play this, you get to search out a bunch of other stuff, right? Then turn 2, so on your opponent's turn, you just get that monster. This will grab you another Dragon Ball. Next turn, you activate main, grab another one of these, so that should take you up to 5 or 6, if not 7. And then if not, you can just activate main on this card to then play the other one from the deck, and then you'll have all your Dragon Balls. Or you can swing with one of these and then just get that monster. Doesn't matter. But this is a consistent way of being able to awaken turn 2. You just have to use this card. You have to kind of mulligan for this card, and probably this, which is kind of the point of the deck. And then you're going to be able to awaken. So, pretty good. Now, I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe this leader restands anything. So it just grabs it just grabs this from the deck. So that's kind of unfortunate there, but it is what it is. Now, this card, I don't believe is, this card is not once per turn. So if you have like one of these on board or another Garlic Jr. on board, you can just play this for 1 energy, draw the 2 cards, or no, sorry, draw the 1 card, and then on the awakened side, activate main and use it again, and then draw 2 more cards. So you get to cycle through your deck pretty quickly. You have 3 of the 4 drops in, so this is a counter attack. If we have a 5 cost or more Garlic Jr. with an indestructible in play, you play this card from your hand without paying its energy cost, and it's a 15k body. Not a fantastic card, but it is searchable as well. We can always charge it. It's searchable off of this guy and off of King Piccolo's as well. Then we have 2 of the Gingers. This is the card you can potentially run more of. If you have a Garlic Jr. with indestructible in play, this card gets 5k in double strike, and you can play it for 1 if you have a red Garlic Jr. in play. So it's a 1 cost 20k double strike that you can buff to a 40k double strike if you use the King Piccolo, because this is a demon clan. So you can give you can search out all these demon clans and you can give them 20k with the time to fight. But this card gives you a different level of playing curve, because now you can even make all of your 1-drops 24ks, which is just a very powerful thing to be able to do. So like I said, this card is probably the anchor of the deck. You could potentially just bump this up to 4. I haven't obviously tested this because cards aren't out yet, but definitely think this card could be just very, very powerful for the deck. And we are going to be playing a Unison in this deck. Now, so this is kind of iffy because this deck does not untap energy. So this might be the wrong thing to do, so I'm just pointing it out there. But I think the potential, depending on the ban list, this card being able to be played, it's going to be very powerful. So for 1, this searches up, you guys probably know what this card does already, but you can search up any red card from the top 3, and then +2 you get to play a 1-drop from your hand and rest. So you get to play out any of these 1-drops. You can play out this guy to search top 5, you can play out this guy to draw this, you can play out these 2 guys to grab the 4 drops or grab Dragon Balls. Again, just giving you another way to being able to awaken turn 2. 1 Yamcha, because we're playing a Unison. 3 Gohan defeating the demon. So just a red staple from now on. You will have to kind of sequence it correctly because this deck does not build Z energy as quickly. However, we do play Z battle cards, and that definitely will help because we have a Z battle card we're probably going to play on turn 2, turn 3. 4 Piccolo opposing strength. So this is the super combo. The reason why we picked this is because this is searchable off of both King Piccolo Time to Fight and King Piccolo Dragon Ball Obsession, because this is in the Mechian cards. You can search them off, and having a searchable super combo that can be searched off of top 5 or just from the deck in general, I think is very good. So that's why we're running Piccolo. one Shinron the Eternal Dragon. So this is the secret rare for the deck. I am super hyped for this card. I cannot wait to buy this. So we picked this because of a few different targets in the deck, which we'll get to in a second. But this card's play cost gets reduced by 1 for every card in your Z energy or drop, which we're gonna be filling up the drop pretty quickly with the Dragon Balls here. I think it just costs for any card, right? Yeah, so it's any card. So this card, once you have all 7 of these in the drop, which is kind of it's gonna be turn 2. This card's gonna be, you're gonna be able to play this card for 3 energy for basically the rest of the game, which is very powerful, very very powerful. It has 3 different activate main effects. Activate main, you get to play mono red battle card from the drop. You get to give, you choose one of your mono red cards, give it 10k and triple attack for the turn, or you choose all of your opponent's battle cards, leaders in unison, ignoring barrier, and they get minus 15 game power for the turn. Again, this is going to be a meta-defining secret rare, I think, for red. For decks that are not playing Vegeta or not playing Vegito, this card is going to be fantastic. So we'll kind of show you some of the cards that we do use with this. One of those cards being the Son Goku and Piccolo. This is Arch Rivals Fighting Together. This is from the new set. This is a 25k deflect double strike when this card's played. Choose one of your leaders and you get 5k power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you get a 5k bean for your leader, which is very good, making you even more difficult to kill. For 2 energy, if you have 4 more energy, you play this card from your hand. You place up to 1 red Goku or Piccolo card from your drop under this card. So you can choose copies of itself, or you can choose your super combo after you use it. Activate main, if your leader is red, you place 1 card from under this card in the drop area. You can switch this card to active mode. So this is one of the things you can do, is you can use your Shinron effect. Whether you play this card from the drop or you play it out automatically and you have Shinron out, you make this card a 35k double strike triple attack. So you're able to swing 3 times, and then you can activate main to restand it a 4th time to pitch the card from underneath it. So it's a quad attack, 35k double strike. That's a lot of swings, right? Obviously, if someone has like a dirty burst or something, it's gonna suck. But this card gives you a lot of value for the deck. And I don't believe, you can't search it, but for whatever reason, I thought you could search it for a second. But yeah, this is a very very good card here. Another one of the archetype cards is we have Garlic Jr. Eternal Life. So Garlic Jr. You can play it for 1 if you have 3 or more energy, and you place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of the deck. And place a card from your hand, you choose 1, either draw 1, or you get to add the Garlic Jr. Ambition from your drop to your hand. Once card's played, play up to 1 Demon Clan from your deck with energy cost 2 or 4, and a power of 15k or less if its seal is negated for the game. So this is any Demon Clan, so keep that in mind. So this is any Demon Clan. So you can play like yellow Demon Clans, because there's some of those. You can play some other type of Demon Clans, like stuff from the King Piccolo deck. So we don't actually have a 2-drop in here, which makes me think that they're going to print like a TP for a 2-drop. But being able to play out any of these guys here, and then you can use King Piccolo to buff them, it's very powerful. That was just kind of my thought process with it. Also, you can make this card is also a Demon Clan, so you can use this card to make this card a 40k attacker. And then you can use your Garlic Jr. Ambition to give it an indestructible, making a 40k indestructible. It's pretty good. Another Garlic Jr. you can do is the 8-drop, which is the new one, Invitation to Eternal Darkness. So it's a 30k dual attack. If this card has indestructible, your opponent's battle cards in unisons get 10k, minus 10k. So this is a permanent. So as long as this card's on the board, so this card does not choose. So this puts a area effect on the board. Essentially, if your opponent plays a card and it is a 10 cost, it will instantly die. If they play a unison that is 10 cost, I believe I believe it will do one of 2 things. It either gets minus a marker, and then consistently gets minus the marker every time, so then it just gets removed, or it just gets removed entirely. I don't actually know how the unison interaction is going to work, but any other unison that's more than 10k just has its power reduced by 10k for the turn. Activate main, if your leader is red and you have 4 more energy, play this card from your hand and you choose all battle cards other than this card and they get minus 15k power for the turn. Again, very powerful. What kind of sucks is that you can't, it also kind of wipes your board as well if you have anything that's 15k or less, so kind of weird. And also it does get removed at the end of the turn, at the end of your opponent's turn from the game. I only included 1 of it. I don't think it's a great card, but something that you can do with this card is if you play this card and you have Shinron on board, you can swing at this card once, restand it, and then use Shinron's effect to give triple attack and then 10k to make it. So it'll swing 1 time for 30k and then 3 times for 40k. 2 testing the ops, 2 after image technique. It's kind of the build. You got some defensive cards. Deck space is tight. This is a 58 card main deck because of the Dragon Balls, so that is something to keep in mind. Again, we don't go over side deck stuff because there is no. We don't really do side decks in these videos. I'll do side deck for future content potentially if a deck is really good or we find that it's very good. Now for the Z deck, we have the Garlic Chain. So we have 2 of the 1-drop, 2 of the 3-drops, 2 of the 5-drops. This guy has a Deflected Barrier, and you stack a 3-drop underneath it. Gains 10k when you have Indestructible. You can play out the 3-drop for 1 in active mode. So then you play out this guy. This guy gets 10k if he has Indestructible. Once card's played, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and minus it by 20. And then this card, you can tap 1 to go into the 5-drop, which is essentially kind of your boss monster for the deck. If this card is Indestructible, it gains 10k and Double Strike. So this card becomes a 35k Double Strike crit. Using the Shinron effect, you can make this card a 45 triple attack Double Strike crit. It's a lot of damage, right? This card attacks, shoots up to one of your opponent's battle cards unisons, ignoring barrier, and it gets minus 30k for the turn. So this is another very powerful effect, right? You can use Shinron's effect, make a triple attack. Card swing 3 times. It's gonna basically kill 3 things and then swing for 45 Double Strike crit 3 times. It's a very powerful boss monster. Again, without I believe, and I think this is how this would work. If you use Garlic Jr.'s Ambition on this card, the Indestructible will carry over to these cards because they're being played on top of them. I think that's how the ruling is, because if not, it wouldn't make sense to play any of these cards, and this deck would just be dead on arrival if you have to activate Garlic Jr.'s Ambition on every single one of these cards, which I don't think is how it's supposed to be played. And then we have 1 Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku Defender of Life, just as another form of burn damage, as well as a boss monster. This card as well, you can make this card a 30k Double Strike triple attack as well with Shinron, so it's something to keep in mind. Any boss monster that you have that has some sort of good keyword skill on it, you can just essentially just throw Shinron on it and it's going to work. So this is the deck that Shinron was sort of made for coming out of the set, because its cost gets reduced to 3 so quickly. So you have this 3-drop secret you can play at almost any point in the game. So but this is the list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. As always, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of the deck, if you guys are going to be playing Garlic Jr. If you guys find any cool little texts that you guys think would be good for the deck, please share those down below with anybody, so that way they can get the education, so when they play the deck, they kind of have some cool things that they can do with it. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.